The ancient Egyptians believed that Osiris was a good god. He had ruled Egypt as a ruler, giving Egypt agriculture and a legal system. On death, he became the god of rebirth. One might assume that upon his death, his son Horus would take the throne of Egypt. But in fact, the tribunal of gods and goddesses believed there was an argument for the older and stronger uncle Seth ruling Egypt. And so the ancient Egyptians had a mythology of good versus evil, the good god Horus versus the evil god Seth. But in fact, it was more a sense of order versus chaos. The two gods face each other, the pharaoh in the middle. The god Seth was strong. He overcame the demon Apophis, the snake-formed demon that threatened the very existence of the sun before dawn each morning. So we have a myth where the main point is that the son of the king should inherit the throne. The son to the left here, Horus, the deceased god Osiris in the middle, his wife Isis to the right. The myth provides a model for the smooth succession of the royal line. The aim was to protect the son and heir by providing a divine prototype. The living king would be identified with Horus and the deceased with Osiris. The mythology of the contendings of Horus and Seth, good versus evil, is detailed and wonderful. In one of the stories, Seth challenges Horus to an underwater contest. They both take the form of the hippopotamus. If either of them surfaces before 3 months is up, he will lose his claim to the throne. In another story, Seth gouges out Horus's eyes, and it's left to the cow goddess Hathor, pictured here as a woman with cow's ears, to cure Horus's sight. She does this using gazelle's milk. The eye of Horus appears very often in ancient Egyptian art and in jewelry such as here, this bracelet in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. When Horus has his eyes poked out and his eyesight is then healed, his eye becomes a symbol of healing. In another of the stories, in the contendings of Horus and Seth, Seth challenges Horus to a boat race in boats made of stone. Horus is clever. He constructs his boat of wood, of pine, painted to look like stone. Seth's is made out of a mountain peak and sinks. The ancient Egyptian stories have humor, but they also make very important points. Eventually in the myth, Horus is confirmed as the rightful heir to the throne. He's associated with all that is good, but perhaps more correctly, he's associated with a sense of order. In ancient Egyptian, the word order is Ma'at. The ancient Egyptian ruler was identified with Horus. Horus here wears the crown of the pharaoh. At the temple of Edfu, the pharaoh is represented again as Horus, spearing a hippopotamus. The hippopotamus symbolizes Seth. It symbolizes evil, but perhaps more correctly, chaos. To magically reduce the threat of chaos to Egypt, the hippopotamus is represented disproportionately small. But the ancient Egyptians recognized that chaos had to be acknowledged and dealt with in order to understand and benefit from order. Like good and evil, order and chaos are a pair that create a whole. This sense of unity is expressed here. Horus, the falcon god, opposite Seth, that mythical and bizarre creature